Love the show Moonhaven. I was completely hooked to it, and I really believe that there's really nothing like it.
Same. People are at first they're surprised because they're sort of experience what they would expect from a sci-fi to be, and then they understand that they are taking a journey into still during COVID. So we were very much being very protected, and we couldn't go anywhere. So we had each other. So we had to work with each other very closely. We bonded, and we have amazing friendships. Due to life is no heaven. Is That's what's beautiful about Moonhaven. They kind of accept the fact that we are not in heaven, that we are flawed, but they also take the time to work with it and give it a moment, and then go with their lives. I think it's a really good. He loves spiders and all kinds of very small animals that I want in my house, but I don't think people don't know. I mean, people who love him and follow him probably know that. Emma's beautiful, beautiful human being, such a sensitive and just loving. But I have to say that one thing that really stayed with me about her was that she worked so hard.
So thank you, Ayelet, for your time. I really appreciate this. It really is a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, and Ayelet, we've loved the show Moonhaven. I was completely hooked to it, and I really believe that there's really nothing like it. What sort of reactions have you been getting?
Same. People are at first they're surprised because they're sort of experience what they would expect from a sci-fi to be, and then they understand that they are taking a journey into something slightly different, and then they love it.
Yes. Now, Moonhaven is quite undoubtedly gripping sci-fi thriller, and you play Mate Voss, who's on a mission to save humanity from self-destruction. Which way do you find the series to be different, timely, and relatable?
Oh my gosh, in all ways possible, really. I mean, the setting of the stories begins when Earth is in shambles, and Moonhaven is a place where people were separated from the Earthers for 100 years, and so they have no connection whatsoever to the culture or how things are. So when we meet them, they're so naive, and they are visceral, and they're like spiritual beings, but really human, flawed yet beautiful. And so for me, that was one of the most exciting things to play, because Mighty, she's an empath, she's a teacher, art collector, historian, council chair, the key holder to IO, which is the artificial intelligence that's really created Moonhaven. But she's also really wise and naive at the same time. And she's meticulous, yet she's intuitive. So how do we encompass in life all these things that we could encompass and work with? Is kind of shown in the series, on top of the story, on top of the layers and the levels of the drama and the thriller and the suspense and the detective story.
Yes, yes. Now, what's also very gripping about Moonhaven is the relationship that characters on the moon share with each other. Because, it's very different from what we get to see here on Earth. What do you think we can really learn from the families up there on the moon?
I wouldn't mind spending a month or two on the moon. and
True,
and
true.
one of my favorite moments in the show, it's a little ahead, so I hope people will watch all the way till that scene and on. But there's a moment where everything goes to hell, and before it does, one of the characters takes his son and plays music, and they dance. And the pilot, Bella, the Earther, tells them, we gotta go, we gotta do some things. And he tells her that they are aware of the fact that things are gonna explode, but they are taking the time to take a breather, and they dance. And there's a whole sequence of a father and son dancing together in the forest. And just that, the understanding that life is no heaven, is that's what's beautiful about Moonhaven. That they kind of accept the fact that we are not in heaven, that we are flawed, but they also take the time to work with it and give it a moment and then go with their lives. I think it's a really good lesson.
Yes. Now, as a viewer, the series really took me on a journey. But what was it like for you? When you read the script, did you have any idea of what was coming next? Or you were just getting the script, as the episodes were being filmed?
Well, so we did get episode 1 and 2 at the beginning, right off the bat. So we knew the idea and where we're going with it, and we could create a world and a sense of personality and a character. So that was one thing. And then on top of that, we got exceptionally lucky to film in the beautiful Ireland and to spend a lot of time together, because it was really still during COVID. So we were very much being very protected, and we couldn't go anywhere. So we had each other. So we had to work with each other very closely. We bonded, and we have amazing friendships due to that, which also affected the roles. It does really create a sense of community when you do that. The women particularly became really close friends, which is also unique. And then on top of that, just the beautiful people, the Irish people, the team were amazing. And Peter Oko, who's wrote this whole thing and conjured this world, has been such an amazing man to work with. He's just so kind on one hand, but stern, knows what he wants, but inclusive. It was a really beautiful experience. And I think everything goes into the work, and you can see it. It's always that way.
Yes. What's another very interesting aspect of Moonhaven is, when you watch the series, you understand how it delves into the concept of opposites. There are too many juxtapositions. It's between us and them, between the Earthers and the Mooners. Did you also find humor in it, not as an actor maybe, but as a viewer?
Oh, yes. I love it. I mean, I laugh at scenes that other actors have. One of the things that I like is also the language, the play on the language, because Peter created something so unique and visceral with the language. It makes it really funny and quirky and weird, and on this, at the same time also, we understand on a deeper level what the people feel, because it's so illustrative. When someone says, for example, the sizzle, it's more than just, oh, I'm excited, or it's a sizzle. It's a visceral feeling of a material sizzling. Or I don't know, I'm thinking about other things. They don't come to mind, but yeah, so that really made the humor part of it. And also just the dances, the weird dances in the middle, and the way that they relate to each other and touch each other, just the naive. It's like being in a big kindergarten with really smart people. It's like, and Mighty is almost like an old
Yeah.
child in a way. So that's interesting, juxtaposition for the character as well.
Yes. All right. Moonhaven is a very character-led series. Which other character would you have wanted to play and why? So, if you were given an opportunity to swap your character with someone else, whose character would you pick?
I really love Arlo,
Yeah.
the way it's playing. I like the humor. I like that he loves to be a detective, and that's his dream. I think Dom's role is also amazing because of the complexity of being a father to a child that goes back to Earth to save the world, but then you may not see him again. So that's really heart crushing. And to be honest, I think all the characters are fun. I can't say much because I don't want to give too much, but there's other characters I really love, and how they evolve later on and what we realize they are.
Yes. And now that we're talking about characters, you also have to reveal one secret about the actors we're going to be naming now. One secret about Dominic that a lot of viewers are not really aware of.
Wow, I don't know that I know a secret that people don't know about him. Um, I think he loves spiders and all kinds of very small
Okay.
animals that I want in my house, but I don't think people don't know. I mean, people who love him and follow him probably know that, but
Yes.
that's
And
that's a
yeah,
big thing. Yeah, he's fond of
right.
spiders and animals that I'm not,
Okay.
not a fan, but like just anyway.
Okay. Emma, what is it that people need to know about her?
Wow, Emma's beautiful, a beautiful human being, such a sensitive and just loving. And but I have to say that one thing that really stayed with me about her was that she worked so hard. She was working day and night, learning lines, the next day filming. I never, never, never heard her complain, ever. She was the toughest cookie on the set, and yet so
Yes.
soft and sweet.
Yes. And Joe?
Joe is not ever alone. He has Bubbles, and this dog is a masterpiece. I think they have a very strong bond. I think she protects him from human beings other than his close gang. It's funny. He's a really handsome big man with a little, dog always with him. You
Yes,
are
yes, yes. Yeah. And the next name is Amara Karan.
oh,
What's
Amara.
everything?
Amara, I love her. Amara.
Amara.
She's first of all, she's smart as a whip.
Uh-huh.
She's probably one of the sharpest knives.
Mhm.
She's also a really good friend, very loyal.
Hmm.
Me and her really bonded. We lived really close to one another, and we used to swim in the cold ocean every day almost.
Okay.
We challenged each other, and even though we sort of a nemesis in the show, we
Yes.
definitely not in life.
Okay. All right. My next question is not about Moonhaven, but it's about Israeli series, that have redefined different genres. I mean, look at the reception, look at the applause that Israeli series are now receiving. Which are your five must-watch picks? And what according to you, can the international cinema learn from Israeli films, projects, series, everything that comes from Israel?
I have to say, there's so many. I don't want to just name five, but I have to say that I think one of the reasons the shows are so successful is because they have a very strong um, space and freedom to create as creators. Where I find in maybe in other places in the world, but mainly also in America, where the system doesn't allow the creator to just do his or her thing, and they get a lot of notes and pointers for people who are not the cook in the kitchen. So I think there's a balance that's kind of right over there, where it's a supportive system who lets the creator create and puts out their voices in a very clear way, where I think in other places that perspective suffers a bit. um, I also feel like Israel has, the budgets are smaller because it's a smaller community, smaller crowd, and so you have to be really precise in the storytelling, and you have to be doing a really good job in delivering the idea, so it lands. And while doing so, you cannot escape to have a crazy stunt or a helicopter or chase scene with a car. You have to really be dependent on character and story. So I think that really also helps the essence, and the deeper look into human nature.
Yes. Now, Israel, as you quite clearly said, is known for good storytelling, and India has a vast showbiz industry. Do you then feel a co production between the two countries will be
Oh my
interesting to
gosh.
explore?
I wish, I hope if someone has an idea and they want to do that, I'm in. First of all, because I've never been to India and I would love to come, and some of my friends live in India, and I do have friends who work in the industry, in
Who are these
production.
friends? Yeah, who are these friends?
I don't worry about
Okay, all right.
that. But but I would love to come and work with them. And there was we tried, we had some script running, going back and forth, but it was just not right yet. So, and I do have a script that I actually developed for myself as an actress, about a story that takes place in India. And so let's just put it out there. Maybe someone will hear and would wanna.
Okay, so you have the script. You obviously are confirmed that you're the actress. So all you need right now is the producer and the main lead. Who would the male lead be?
That's a good question. It depends. There's a beautiful actor from Israel that's a comedian that I always wanted to work with him. If that's one idea. And I don't know, it's something I never really thought about in my mind, because it's basically still in the stages of development. So I'm not attaching myself to any idea.
Right. Why I'm asking you about Bollywood is because, Sahi was also, the famous for the actor, Sahi Halevi, was also in India, and he really was, talking about this collaboration between India and Israel, and, how the ties can really help the artists. So I just wanted to understand if that's also on your mind.
Everything is on my mind. Any collaboration is totally on my mind, and I highly believe in collaborations, and I highly believe in collaboration between cultures and between people who are maybe in other places but can enrich each other. I think it is a great ground for a wonderful piece of art.
Are you happy with the interpretation of Israeli films internationally? Like how international cinema portrays Israel or how they interpret Israel. Are you happy with that, or do you want that to be changed?
I think art should not represent what is as a blank, as a piece of truth. We always have to look at it and understand that this is just a perception of the person who created that piece of art. So I don't want to change anyone's perception. I do love when shows, particularly TV, I think cinema is more critical politically, but I think TV tends to play on the human side more and be entertaining rather than judgmental, and lets people judge for themselves. Israel is a beautiful place, and the people in Israel are beautiful. I think politically we're portrayed sometimes falsely and sometimes rightly, but art is a whole other thing. Art should be really be used as a mirror, but is a mirror with a perception. So people should remember that always.
And you're also a Squid Game fan? Squid Game?
Actually, I'm not a follower of Squid Game.
You're not? You're not a fan?
I'm not a fan. I haven't watched it.
Okay,
yeah. There's so much streaming going on. If I spend my days in front of the TV, I'll be not writing and not working and not being a mother and not exercising. So I guess, I didn't get the chance to watch it, unfortunately.
Okay. Right. But thank you so much, Ayelet, for speaking to us, for giving us your time. These are like beautiful thoughts that we got to know about Moonhaven, about Israeli films, interpretation of Israeli cinema, and of course, the Indian-Israel collaboration that we all are looking forward to. So thank you for your time. All right. Take care. Bye.